Welcome back to the Michigan Business Beat, brought to you on the Michigan Business Network. I'm Chris Holman, coming to you from our studios at the Capital Region International Airport. And we're going to spend a little time right now with Chris Rizik. He's the founder and managing partner and the chief executive officer, obviously, at Renaissance Venture Capital Fund. And Chris, I was trying to recount how long we have been working with you guys on the wonderful work that you have done, and I've got it somewhere in the 10 to 12 year range. It's unbelievable how you guys have grown. Let's start off. First of all, welcome to the show, and welcome to the Wolverines, because I know that's huge with you.
That's right. Yes. So thanks, Chris. It's great being here with you. And you're right. We've been doing this a long time. I think probably talked to you earlier than we talked to anybody when we started Renaissance, which is now 15 years ago. And last night was a great night. We're based in Ann Arbor, so there's a lot of affinity for the University of Michigan. So it was a great game we saw.
It was.
So
great
Renaissance,
too.
yes. So what Renaissance is, we are a fund of funds in the venture capital area. So we invest in venture capital funds around the country under the condition that they come and get active looking at Michigan startups. And we've had a great run. Over 15 years of investing in a number of funds around the country that really didn't know Michigan. And part of our job is to invest in them and get them to know what's going on here. We certainly invest for returns. And so we get into a lot of great funds. And from their standpoint, they see a lot of great Michigan companies through their relationship with us that they never would have seen. So it really is a win-win situation for both the region and from a financial standpoint.
Well, you were one of the guys, and your fund was one of the recipients of beneficiaries, if you will, of COVID. Tell us a little bit about that investment.
Yeah, so one of the investments we made back in 2011 was a group in Boston called Flagship Ventures, and they founded in their offices Moderna. They had this idea about using mRNA as for both vaccines and cancers. And certainly during COVID, we were really proud. And I actually volunteered and was in the clinical trials as one of the guinea pigs in the clinical trials when they were first testing the vaccine. So that was really an important time for us. And we felt like it was one of those things that showed what venture capital can do to help humanity.
Yeah, it really was a home run. So let's talk about now 2023. What were some of the highlights for you guys?
The highlights really have been the good companies. And if you think about it, we're investing in all these funds, and then these funds invest in startups. So we have stakes in almost 1,000 startups around the country, with a great number of them in Michigan. And the good companies continue to do well. But certainly overall, 2023 was a challenging year in the venture space. And what happened is, as you saw with the public stock markets, 2020, 2021, things got a little bubbly. And what happened in 2022, and particularly in 2023, is things came back down to earth. It's a normal cycle. It's just that we hadn't seen one in quite a while. We hadn't seen one since 2008, 2009. And we had this long spell, the longest that I can remember, where things were going up and to the right. So that's what we saw last year. And some of the big high flyers, and you hear about the WeWorks and all that, they came back down to earth. It's a normal cycle, but there was a generation of people who had never experienced it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So just by way of some explanation, when you give money to a fund who then or venture capital fund who then goes out and invests, do you get an equity stake in that investment, or do you get an equity stake in the venture capital fund?
I get an equity stake in the fund, which is really just a collection of equity stakes in all the companies they invest in. It's very much flow through.
Right.
Almost
right.
we're like a mutual fund in a lot of ways for venture.
So you got to be pretty selective about the funds you invest in too.
Absolutely. Last year we invested in one new relationship, and I think we probably talked to 400 to 500 funds to do that. So it's a really high bar for us.
Wow. So let's talk about 2024. What are you expecting, bud?
It's going to be a recovery year. It's going to actually be a really good year to invest because prices have come down, just like on the public stock markets, did a year ago. And unlike 2008, 2009, when things kind of ground to a halt, they're not grinding to a halt. There's a lot of activity. Certainly AI is the big driving force in a lot of venture capital investing right now. And if you think of AI, it's not sort of a vertical, it's more like a horizontal. It's affecting every single industry. One of the most interesting ones to watch will be AI and drug discovery. The use of AI to develop new drugs quicker and cheaper. And I think we're going to see an explosion of new therapeutics coming to the world that would have taken many more years and many more millions of dollars than what they're going to take right now.
Well, you alluded to this. Not only are you making money, but you are investing in improving mankind, and that is admirable. It's good when you can do both those things, right?
Right, right. And helping Michigan is great too.
Yeah, it absolutely is. All right. Chris Rizik, thanks so much for joining us. Founder, managing partner, and CEO of Renaissance Venture Capital Fund in Ann Arbor, Michigan. And go blue, I guess, eh?
Thanks, Chris. It's great to be on.
You're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network.